what you need to know real quick about the PlayStation VR 2 and the Quest 2 in 2023. Let's compare these prices right here between the PSVR 2 price and the Quest 2 price. The standalone VR is starting at $400, whereas the PlayStation VR 2 is going to be $550, plus your tax and things of that nature. And you've got that cost of the PlayStation 5. Games on the Quest 2, though, generally range from $20 to $40. Meta, Facebook does actually send a whole lot of coupon codes through emails and by using the still titled Oculus app, or just being set up with the Oculus app on your PC. You'll normally get some kind of discount code to refer a friend or just a percentage off on a game. Whereas old Sony, a little bit stingy with discounts. And games generally seem to range more from the low 20 to full price $60, which I guess is the last gen full price of console games. Keeping it on games, content is king, queen, prince, and princess when it comes to VR, and the mileage is going to vary and kind of get into what you prefer graphically in this department. That Qualcomm Snapdragon processor isn't going to compete graphically with the PlayStation 5. And I know Quest 2 can be used for PC VR, but there's not as much games made specifically for PC VR. And speaking of a Horizon called The Mountain, it looks to be one of the graphical showpieces for the PSVR 2, as well as the free update to GT7, Gran Turismo 7, where you can drive your car in VR, which everybody says is really cool. If you're into cars, that's definitely going to be something that you're going to want to look at. Let's talk a little bit about the hardware. Those sexy PSVR 2 controllers. Check this out. There's touch sensitivity. The controller knows when you're pointing and might even know when you're making lewd gestures. There's also Sony's favorite H word, haptic feedback built right into the controller as well as the headset. So you get don't in game from behind or something, you feel it up around your noggin. Does anybody say noggin anymore? 3D audio, the Tempest headsets included right in the box. There's eye tracking, and Quest 2 doesn't do any of that. Poor Quest 2. It's all right, it's an inanimate object. I can talk about it like this. But Quest 2 isn't tethered unless you have a USB-C cable hooked into the side of the headset so that you can play PC VR games. Hey, if the cost is really much of a factor, I'm tied to the PlayStation brand. I do believe support's going to continue for PlayStation VR 2, so I might go that route. And I also know that Quest 3 could be arriving later in 2023, so if I had zero VR, perhaps it could be worth waiting on. And I mean, if this Quest 2 had a price drop, I might be saying something entirely different, but it had a price increase. I do have a worry with people who are hopping into VR that these headsets will just end up in the closet or maybe being gifted away to a friend or family member a little bit down the road. It's going to be a glorified paperweight, and unfortunately, there's no way to know that until you actually have the headset and are living with it and are using it. And the opposite is true. People who use it close to daily and absolutely love having their head inside of the VR, the virtual reality. I don't think anybody's ever phrased it that way. Got your head all up in the VR. I've got more thoughts on the Quest 2 1 year after release and 2 years after release. It's fun to go back and listen to how things change and how things stay the same, in my opinion, of this headset right here. A video on how to play your Quest 2 for games like Half-Life Alyx on your PC. And also, make sure you hit up YeagerShots.com for the channel themed apparel. This is the color editor keyboards. Got a video about that on the way, and subscribe to never miss a shot from YeagerShots.com.